Hey, what's up everybody? This video is going to teach you how to search through a date range using scripts in FileMaker. Hey, what is up everybody? Welcome to another FileMaker beginner tutorial. My name is Sunny Chu and today our topic is going to be how to search through a range of date using scripting in FileMaker. So in today's tutorial, this is the database that we are going to work on, and it's a very simple coffee shop sales transaction database, and we have the date of transaction, the item that's been sold, and also the amount. And what we are trying to do is very simple. We are going to try to create this top thing here that allows you to search through the date of a transaction. So for example, if I go here and I search from 1st of October to 4th of October and click OK. Now what will happen is that you will search through the records within those range. It's pretty simple, right? But what I find is that a lot of people is actually struggling with the scripting aspects of this. How do I set up the script so that you can search for a date range instead of just one date? And that's the first part of it. And then the second part of it, what we're going to do, we're going to create this very nice feature here that it's like a 7-day, 28-day, 90-day. So what it does is that when you click on the 7-day search, it will automatically search through the records from the last 7 days. So today is the 5th of October. So 7 days ago is 28th of September. So you can see we can automatically find all the data from the last 7 days, and also last 28 days. Usually this kind of a quick button is very convenient for people to just quickly search for a date range and then have a look at the report information that they need. So without further ado, I think it's time to get started. So let's start with the overview of this tutorial. And what we're going to do is we are going to break the tutorial down into 3 parts. The first part, what we're going to do is start from the basics. So I'm just going to teach you how to write a script that you can search a single date. So what I mean is that you can just type in October the 3rd and then it will search through all the records with the same date as what you specify. And then moving on to the next stage, we are going to work with the date range. So you can now enter 2 values from this date to this date, and then it will search through a range of dates. And then finally, the third part of this tutorial, we are going to work through how to create those quick find buttons. So I can easily click and then find the last 10 days of transaction, last 30 days, and also last 90 days. And so without further ado, let's get to part 1. Before we start, just know that you can download this exercise file, both the before file and the after file, in the link in the description down below, so that you can follow along and work alongside me while I'm going through this tutorial. Now the first thing you will notice when we open the before file is that I had removed the top part of it away, so that we're going to work step by step from 0 to creating everything. The first thing you want to do is to create 2 fields in here so that we can type information inside it. So let's go to File, Manage, Database, and we are going to create our field. And we're going to create 2 fields with the type of a date. So the first one we're going to create is a from date. And then the second one we're going to create is the to date. So these 2 fields are going to be used later on for us to enter our from and to for the date range search. So click OK, and then go to View, Layout Mode, and we're going to place the field inside here along with another button. So click and drag a field here. I want to choose this, the from, remove the tag, and then let's just copy, paste, and then change this to date. And then we also want to create a search button in here, and we'll click inside this. We're going to search a magnifying glass button, and I think everything looks good now. So let's go back to View, Browse Mode, and have a look at our field here. So now we got this 2 field being able to enter. But we have one problem here. right now this to field is actually attached to these records here. And so for example, if I type in like this, October the 1st, 2018, and I move one record, it's gone. And if I move back to the original record, it shows up. Now to show you what's happening in here is that let's put this field into the main body instead. So what happened is that FileMaker is actually treating this as a part of the record, but this is not a part of the record. What we want to do is just a temporary placeholder where we can put in the from and to date to search for the information that we want. So what we need to do is to change these two fields into something we call a global field. So let's go to File, Manage, Database, and we're going to double click onto the from date first, and we're going to change this by clicking into the option. Make sure you're in the third tab, Storage, and click Use Global Storage in here. Click OK. Click OK again. We're also going to do the same for the to date. Click OK. OK again. So now you notice that this is now changed to a global field. And click OK, you will notice that the value we just entered is gone. But let me show you a quick experiment to show what's the difference between a standard field and a global field. So if we type in the text we have just now, 5th of October 2018, and confirm, you'll notice that all the different records are using the same value in here. So this global field, the main purpose of it is for you to create some sort of temporary placeholder that you can enter a data, and it doesn't really affect the main records too much. So if I change this to 6th of October, all of them change to 6. So it's good for creating this input field that you can enter data to search for things. So enough of this, let's go to layout mode, and we're going to remove this from our main table. And then we're going to change this into a control style of a drop-down calendar, so it's easier for you to select the dates later on. And then we're going to go back to browse mode, and I think now everything is looking good. So we're going to move on to creating our script for the next step. So let's go to script workspace, and then we are going to create a new script. Now there's a script that's there that's called a refresh. Just leave it there because it's a script that I placed in here to help you generate data that is closer to your date. So if you're opening this file in like 2019, it will automatically populate the sample dates based on the dates that you're opening this file. So just leave this alone and don't touch it. And let's create a new script in here. And what we want to do is to search through the dates that we specify in the from field. Now let's ignore the to field for now. And before we continue with this tutorial, I would suggest, if you don't know what FileMaker scripting is and you're just starting out as a beginner, I would suggest you to have a look at my other tutorial first, which is called FileMaker Scripting Basics, before coming back to this tutorial. Otherwise, you probably won't learn too much from this because you won't understand what we're doing. So what I want to do is that I want to do a quick recap on how to do a dynamic searching feature. So that means we can type in whatever we want in here, and then we can click a find button, and then we are going to find the data here. Now I've gone through this in the FileMaker Scripting Basics, but for a quick recap, let's just show you the logic behind it. So what's happening in here is that we need to do three things. Now first, we need to take out the from date and store it inside a variable called, let's call it $date. The next thing you want to do is we want to put this whole variable and give it to this robot here, which is called perform find. He is also a script, and then as a result, he will give us the result of the search that matches the criteria we place in here. So that's the general concept of how this whole thing works. So let me try and show you by writing out the comment first, so you know the logic behind what I'm doing. So first thing, I want to take out the field. Actually, I want to take out the data from the from field. So I want to take out data from here and then store it in a variable called $date. So that's the first step. And then once we do that, I want to place the $date into a finding script. So that's actually very simple. First step, we're going to save this date and store it as a variable, and then we're going to place that variable in our find script to run the find. So let's do it. So go here and use the set variable script, and we are going to name this variable date, and then we are going to use the value from the FromDate view, and click OK. Click OK again. And the next step, we are going to use a perform find script. Perform find, and we're going to click inside this perform find script and specify that we want to search for sales data with the date of the variable $date that we saved. Click OK. Click OK again. And let's call this script a single search script. And then we're going to right click and save the script. The next thing we want to do is to apply to this button here. So go to View, Layout Mode, double click into this and Action, Perform Script, and we are going to choose the single search script that we just created. And click away, and then go to View, Browse Mode to use the system. So now I am selecting the 1st of October 2018, and when I click search, it will automatically search for all these items here. And then when I search, let's say the 3rd of October, click, it will search all the 3rd of October records in here. So that's pretty simple, right? That's the first step. So moving on, what we want to do is we want to also incorporate this thing, the toDate, into this search script. So before I do that, I just want to show you like a very general concept, is that FileMaker scripting is always about imitating what you do manually. So the question I want to give you is, how do I search for a date range manually? And if you've gone through my very beginner basics tutorial, you probably know that if you want to search through a range of data, be it number or date, you will need to write it in a very specific format. So I'm going to show you how. So go to Find Mode, click onto the Find button, and I want to, let's say, search the 1st of October 2018. And then to write this, I want to write ... 5th of October 2018. I think it's the field is not long enough. Let me move it a little bit so you know what's happening. So what's happening here is that I go back to the Find Mode, and I want to search for the 1st of October 2018 ... all the way to the 4th of October 2018. So writing it that way will allow us to find a range of record with the date that is between 1st of October to 4th of October. If I click enter now, you will notice that all our records are between that two date range. So inside the script, what we want to do is that we want to imitate that action that we just did. So we want the date here. Instead, just put the from date. We want to put the from date ... and then to date. So let me show you what we're going to do. I'm going to create a new script, and let's call this a date range search. And what we're going to do is, again, I'm going to show you the comment first. So first step, I'm going to break this down into smaller chunks. So first step, what we're going to do is I want to take field data from the from field. That's the first step. Next step, I want to take field data from the to field. And then once I have both the from and to, I want to merge it into that ... format. So I want to merge from merge the from and to into a format that looks like this, from ... to. And then I'm going to place that final variable into the find script. Okay, so let's start with the first part. So we are going to create a set variable here. Let's call this from, and we're going to take the field from date in here. Next thing, similar things, we're going to use another set variable, and this time I'm going to name this to, and we are going to take the to date in here. And the third step is the most important step, is that we want to merge this two dates together into one new variable. So we're going to use a set variable again. Now let's name this variable date underscore range, so that we don't mix it up with the other ones that we just create. Date range equals to, let's go into the calculation panel. And if you've gone through the calculation basics tutorial, you will know that in order to merge different text together, what we need to do is to do something like this. From, and that's the first block of text. The second block of text is just 3 dots. So I'm going to add a quotation beside it, ... And the other one is to. And if I add in the sign and sign between them, and I place it all back into one line like this. So we'll have we're going to take the from date, merge it with ... and merge it with to, and click OK. So now we have constructed our date range variable. The last step is very straightforward. So we're going to go use that perform find script again, and we are going to specify this time. We want the well, let's remove this. We want the sales date to be using date range. So we're going to use that date range variable that we just created. So we're going to search for records that is between the date range that we just specified. Click OK. Click OK again. Save this by right click, save, and we are going to apply this new script to this button here. Okay, so let's go to view, layout mode, and then double click onto this. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply date range search, and we are going to go back to view, browse mode, and let's see what happens. So if I click on 1st of October to 3rd of October and click this search button, you'll now notice that all these different search results are between that particular date range. So we basically did it to searching all these a range of dates and find the result of it. But there's one thing that I don't like about this particular arrangement, is that when I search this, the dates are kind of like scattered. We have like 1st of October here, 2nd of October here. So I want to kind of fine tune the script so that it looks better. So what I want to do is that after I search through all the record, I want to add in a sort record script. And let's click here, specify, and I want them to sort by date. So we can do that by double clicking the date in here. It will move it to the other side. And what I want to do is to show from the earliest date to the latest date. Click OK. And I'm going to turn off the dialog, and I'm going to save the script again and run it. Click. Now it's all searching as we want it to. And what I want to kind of improve it just a little bit more is that when I search, it kind of landed in one of the result that's kind of in the middle of all the record. So let's use another script called go to record request / page, and make sure we're on the first record again. And then right click, click save, and we're going to search again. And this time we're landed back to the top, and if we change our search criteria, we are searching all the result here very nicely. So that's how you create a date range search in FileMaker. Okay, so now that we have the first and the second part of this tutorial complete, let's move to the third part. Now, in case you forget what the third part is that we are going to create a button that looks like this. So like 7 days, 28 days, 90 days. And when I click onto it, it will automatically find, for example, if I click on 7 day, it will automatically find the records that is on the last 7 day. And when I click on 28, it's the last 28 days. So this kind of arrangement, I kind of stole it from the YouTube analytic panel, and they kind of use this to help us video creator to see analytics result, and which is very convenient. So I kind of adopt this into the FileMaker work, and it's a very nice tool to help you very conveniently find the information that you always want to access to it very quickly. So how do we do this? To break down the mechanics of this feature to you, what we want to do is very simple. Let's say I have two empty fields in here now. When I click onto the 7 days search field, what I want is that for the to date, I want the computer to automatically mark the to date as today. So today is the 5th of October. And what I also want the computer to do is to take the to date and minus it by 7 days earlier and change that to the from date. So the from date should be 7 days earlier than the to date. So it should be like 28th of September 2018. And the third thing I want to do is to help me automatically click this button and automatically find all the records between this to date. That's what the 7 day quick search should be doing. So let me create the button first. Let's see. So let's go to View, Layout Mode, and we're going to create a very quick 7 days button. So let's call it 7 days like this. And the next thing we want to do is to go to Script Workspace again. And what we want is to create another new script. Now, I'm going to write out in comment again what the logic is. So the first thing I want to do is to set the to field into today's date. Next thing I want to do is to set the from field into today's date minus 7. So that means like kind of like 7 days ago. And then what I want to do in the third step is to set it so that it will automatically click the date range search. So basically, once I set these two things up, I want it to automatically click this button, which is kind of like to automatically run this date range search script. So let's break this down one by one. First step, let's set the to date field into today's date. So to set a variable, we use a set variable field just now. To change a field, we want to use something called set field. Set field, and then we're going to specify, we are going to target the to field. So that's the to field that we're targeting. And what we want to do is to change the to date into today. So there's a function in FileMaker that's very useful. It's called get current date. So this function allows you to get whatever date that you are having today and place it as a date value inside a calculation. So when I click OK, the to date will automatically change to today's date. Next thing I want to do is that I want to create another set field, but this time I want to change the from. So let's target the from date, and I want to change it to today's date minus 7. So it's like 7 days ago. So let's do get current date minus 7. And let's call this quick search 7 as like a quick search 7 day. Now what we can do is that let's go to browse mode, and we're gonna apply this button here first. We first need to go back to layout mode and apply this button. So go to perform script, click quick search 7 to apply this, go back to browse mode, and so that's before we do the rest, let's just see what happens. I remove both field in here. When I click on 7 day, it automatically fill in today's date on here, and it automatically fill in 7 days before today here. So the next thing I want to do is that I want this script to also click this button for me, which is the date range search. So what we need to do next is to create something called perform script. So this is the script step that we are looking for. It's called perform script. Now what this script step does is that it allows you to perform other scripts. So this time I want to set the to date, set the from date, and then automatically click onto date range search. So I'm going to select here date range search, and I am going to right click, save this, and let's just kind of show all the record again. When I click onto this button here, what will happen is that it will automatically find the last 7 days transaction from the 5th of October all the way back to 28th of September. So that's the overall concept of how you can make such a quick default search button. Now, in order for you to create a 28 days and 90 day search, the simplest way is to just duplicate this, duplicate 2 copies of it, and kind of maybe like rename this whole thing to 28 days and 90 days, and then make sure the important thing is you want to make sure the from date you're setting it into -28, and for this one into -90, and then save both of them, and then just create a new button and apply it to this thing here, which I'm pretty sure that you can do it very easily. So that's it for this tutorial. This is kind of like a very basic combination of scripting, calculation, to help you know how to search through a different date range. And I also kind of introduced this function to you, and it's a very nice function for creating reports. For example, I want to see the sales result for the last 7 days or last 2 months, last 2 years. So instead of having to manually click here and navigate through the calendar, you just click this button to get a quick idea of what's happening. So it's a pretty cool tool. And yeah, that's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching, hope you like it, and I will see you next time.